I'm sure that at this point pretty much everyone has heard of Tesla as a brand, but today we are looking at something that Elon Musk has nothing to do with. Tesla, the consumer electronics brand, not the Tesla Incorporated, was founded 10 years ago in Serbia, named after the most famous Serbian inventor, and has gradually expanded its portfolio from mobile devices like phones and tablets to a broad range, including consumer electronics, home appliances, and white goods, three categories that probably constitute the largest part of their business at the moment. At this point, Tesla is an international brand operating in many countries worldwide and on multiple continents, with an increasingly ambitious approach that aims to make their products available in every home, inspired by Nikola Tesla's idea to provide technology for all. If you've always wanted a Tesla but don't quite have the dough for a Cybertruck, maybe a TV would be a more sensible option. We have already had the opportunity to test Tesla TVs on several occasions since their first models were announced on our Serbian channel, and this time we got to try out their latest model. It is a Google TV based model belonging to Tesla's Series 9, specifically a 65-inch size, which comes with a QLED Plus designation, implying a quantum dot panel. The best part is that this is a very affordable TV, offering more than expected for its price. So let's see how it performs in use and what it has to offer to potential users. In terms of design, it is a modern-looking TV with a mm thin bezel on the top and the sides and an additional 5mm black margin around the actual screen. The bottom edge has a minimal margin along with a contoured plastic bezel that resembles brushed aluminum even up close. On its right side is the Tesla logo, and below its center is an interesting addition housing sensors, two microphones, indicator LEDs, and a switch underneath that deactivates the microphone. The stand is entirely made of cast metal, consisting of two pairs of legs, similar to what we see on many models, extending from the front and back, but connected with an additional part on the front, forming a trapezoidal shape. This solution, with its dark grey surface and sandblasted texture, makes for a more interesting design and looks quite nice. The back of the TV, except for the electronics box at the bottom, is made of a single piece of metal that includes the panel frame, which makes the TV sturdy and robust. On the mentioned electronics box, there are ventilation openings at the top, as well as a slot for CI Plus cards, while all other connectors are accessible from the left side for easier access. In this section you will find a LAN port, optical audio output, 3 HDMI ports, 2 USB ports, antenna and satellite connectors, and a composite AV input via a 3.5mm adapter included in the package. All three HDMI connectors support 4K input up to 60 Hz, which is fine considering the panel itself refreshes at this rate. What is missing is support for variable refresh rate, which we would like to see for gaming, especially since the TV supports game mode, reducing input lag to a very decent 10 milliseconds, making this model a good choice for console gaming on a large screen for a relatively small amount of money. Speaking of the screen, it is a 65-inch IPS-type panel, but enhanced with a quantum dot filter layer, resulting in a display of much wider color gamut that we measured at exactly 90% of the DCI-P3 spectrum, which is a nice result. Although the specifications state that it is a 10-bit panel, we would say it is probably 8-bit plus FRC, as indicated by the not very smooth color gradient. Apart from that, the panel is quite good, with an excellent contrast for an IPS, which we measured at 1230:1, and a very good uniformity without significant brightness variations or dirty screen effect. If you pay close attention, at certain brightness levels on a gray background, you may notice a vertical pattern due to the light source arrangement, but it is imperceptible in normal use. The backlight is direct LED without any advanced features like local dimming, and supports only global brightness control or dynamic contrast, as expected in this class. The maximum brightness is rated at 320 nits, and our measurements showed it to be slightly above that in most display modes, reaching a maximum of 340 nits. With this brightness and 1230:1 contrast, true HDR content display is not to be expected. To be fair, it is not to be expected at this price range either, but the TV will display all HDR10, HLG and Dolby Vision content adapted according to its capabilities. The display quality is pretty decent overall, with its strongest points being the color display and vibrancy due to implementation of quantum dots and consistent viewing angles thanks to the IPS matrix. The TV comes with 6 predefined picture modes: Vivid, Standard, Sport, Movie, User and Energy Saving, each with its HDR version used for corresponding content. Regarding display accuracy, the best delta E deviation we measured was in movie mode with a decent 4.1, so you will get the most natural display in that mode, while the others are more oriented towards more attractive display and vibrant colors. As for image processing options, we hoped that Tesla S939 might include MEMC algorithms for motion processing, which have occasionally trickled down to the more affordable segment in recent years, but they are unfortunately not included. The TV will apply pull-down algorithms for displaying 24 FPS film content, improving the impression, but some form of MEMC would have been welcome. Available processing options include noise and MPEG artifact reduction and adaptive brightness control or dynamic contrast, along with usual adjustments for brightness, contrast, color, and sharpness. As for the sound that this TV produces, it is more than decent, even better than expected, thanks to the low frequencies present just enough to make the TV sound more convincing. The bass response gradually decreases below 120 Hz and more sharply below 90 Hz to a minimum of 35. The sound balance is more than solid for this class, and there is enough volume even though it is a 2x12-watt solution. Sound processing options include Dolby Atmos, providing a very good soundstage, as well as Dolby optimized modes for different content types. There are also sliders for bass and treble and a dialogue enhancement option with 3 levels of intensity. Where the Tesla S939 probably has the most to offer is in terms of smart capabilities, as the TV runs on the version 11 of Google TV platform with official Google certification and access to the Google Play Store. This means you will have a huge selection of various applications at your disposal, including apps from local TV operators, music and video streaming services, and much more. There are also some apps found only on Android, such as Kodi or Steam Link, and many games that are better than on other TV platforms, although we noticed some known ones were not offered in the store search, probably due to hardware limitations. The TV is powered by MediaTek's not-so-fresh MT7332 platform, which with 2GB of RAM and just over 10GB of storage offer modest performance for demanding games, but decent for less demanding games and apps with a very decent interface smoothness. Speaking of the interface, it is the standard Google TV user experience, which we must admit is very polished and optimized, leaving an increasingly nicer impression with every iteration. On the home screen, you will find a list of applications and content suggestions for watching and listening from services like YouTube, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Spotify, or anything else you have installed. At the very top of the screen, there are shortcuts for home screen, access to the App Store, access to your content library, including those marked as Watch Later or Rented, plus the search and settings menu. Speaking of the menu, pressing the Settings button on the remote will display a quick menu that contains shortcuts to frequently used functions such as picture and sound settings, input selection, screensaver activation, or full menu access. The remote control is visually very user-friendly, with buttons marked and arranged clearly, so you will immediately know what's what and what it does. It has buttons for practically all necessary functions, shortcuts for a few most used services, and a daily button that displays a menu you can configure with apps and system shortcuts. All buttons are of good quality, rubberized but with a precise short travel mechanism and a clear click. The remote itself is elongated, rounded on the back, and with a texture that makes it less slippery. It's worth mentioning that the TV can also be voice-controlled, which is a common feature of Google TV, but a thing that makes this model stand out is that voice control is possible even without the remote, via an attachment under the panel that we mentioned before. A feature called Farfield uses 2 microphones and a noise reduction algorithm to enable you to issue voice commands from anywhere within the room, which is something we usually see on much more expensive devices. Overall, the Tesla Q65S939GUS is a TV that offers good value for around €560. For a bit more money than the cheapest models of this size, you get a large 65-inch screen with quantum dot panel, excellent viewing angles, and overall very decent picture quality for its class, along with nice sound and rich features brought by the Google TV platform, plus a 5-year warranty at least on some markets. Those looking for a large TV for not so much money can go wrong. It is worth mentioning that besides the 65-inch version, there's also an even larger 75-inch one for around €800 and a smaller 55-inch for about €420, which will probably be the most interesting one for buyers. Tell us in the comments which one you would choose and what your impressions of this TV are. We hope you enjoyed this review enough to give us a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to our channel for more interesting tech content. You were watching Bench House, my name is Ivan, and I'll see you next time.